Have you ever asked the universe, God, or whatever higher entity you believe in for a sign? A tangible sign, a clear guide that would allow you to understand how to move in life, which direction to take, which decision is the right one for you. Have you ever found yourself at a crossroads, unsure of which path to take, longing with all your heart for an answer, a clue, a light to illuminate your path? Or maybe, have you ever felt deep within your being that there was something bigger for you, a higher purpose, but you couldn't figure out what it was? If you have ever experienced these feelings, these nagging questions, this desire for clarity, then you are in the right place. Because the truth is that the universe, in ways that we often cannot immediately understand, is constantly sending us signals. The problem is that too often we are too distracted, too caught up in the background noise of everyday life to notice and decipher them correctly. In this video, thanks to a Zen story full of Buddhist wisdom, set in an ancient temple immersed in a quiet bamboo grove in Japan, we will discover how to get in tune with the subtle language of the universe. We will learn to listen to its whispers, to interpret its signs, and ultimately to find the path in our lives, the one that leads us to the realization of our full potential. So stay tuned until the end. Watch and rewatch this video several times, because what you will discover, especially in the last few minutes, could radically change your existence forever, opening your eyes to a reality that you have always sensed, but have never seen with such clarity. But before continuing, we ask you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and activate notifications. In this way, you will help us produce new content every day for your spiritual growth. In the heart of an ancient bamboo grove, where the emerald stems swayed in a hypnotic dance with the breeze, perched atop a hill overlooking a sleepy Japanese village, stood a venerable Buddhist temple. Its moss-covered tiles and weathered wooden beams whispered tales of ages past, every pebble and pillar resonating with the silent wisdom of countless generations who had sought solace and enlightenment within its walls. Here lived an elderly monk, Master Sado, whose age was a mystery shrouded in time like the misty mountains surrounding the temple. His eyes possessed the depth and calm of a pristine mountain lake, reflecting the boundless expanse of the sky, and his bearing exuded a serene acceptance of all the mysteries of the universe, both manifest and unmanifest. Pilgrims from every corner of the world, their colorful robes like petals scattered on a mountain path, flocked to the temple, their hearts full of questions, their spirits yearning for guidance. They came from the frenzy of the cities and the quiet of the villages, driven by a shared restlessness, the desire to understand their place in the great tapestry of existence. They sat at Master Sado's feet, eager to absorb his wisdom, to find comfort and clarity amidst the swirling chaos of their lives. One sun-kissed morning, as golden rays filtered through the rustling bamboo leaves, casting dancing patterns on the temple floor, a motley crew of seekers gathered in the main hall. There was a young artist questioning his talent, his eyes filled with a mixture of hope and uncertainty, his clothes stained with the colors of his inner struggle. A struggling businesswoman wearing a pinstriped suit that seemed out of place in the temple's serene atmosphere contemplated a life-changing career change, her brow furrowed with lines of anxiety. An elderly peasant with calloused hands and a face as weathered as the bark of an ancient tree sought peace after losing his beloved wife, his stooped figure bearing the unbearable weight of mourning. And there were many others, each with their own unique story of searching, uncertainty, and a deep, inarticulate longing for something more. Master Sado entered the hall, his simple saffron-colored robe flowing gently with each step, the sound of his straw sandals on the polished floor a reassuring rhythm in the silence. She sat cross-legged on a time-worn cushion, her posture effortlessly upright, her presence filling the room with a palpable tranquility. His eyes, windows to a vast and compassionate soul, gently scanned each member of the congregation. An expectant silence filled the hall, broken only by the distant song of an unseen bird and the soft rustling of bamboo outside the temple windows. "You asked me for a sign," Master Sato began, his voice a soothing balm that seemed to dispel the anxiety in the air. "And I tell you, there it is." A wave of astonishment passed through the crowd. Some exchanged puzzled glances, eyebrows raised in question. Others shifted uneasily, wondering if a master was mocking them, if their fervent research had been misdirected. "Each of you," Master Seto continued, his voice ringing with a gentle authority, "has come here seeking answers. You have wondered whether you are on the right path, whether your efforts, your labors, your dreams will bear fruit, whether the universe is conspiring for you or against you in the grand scheme of things." His eyes rested on a young woman sitting in the front row, her brightly colored dress in stark contrast to the muted tones of the temple. Her eyes, wide and attentive, betrayed a soul torn between passion and duty. "You, my dear, wonder whether you should follow your passion for painting, whether you should dare to bring to life the visions that dance in your mind, or whether you should succumb to society's pressures for a steady job, a predictable path that promises security but might smother the flame of your soul." The woman nodded, tears welling up in her eyes, a shiver of recognition running down her spine. How could he know? It was as if he had looked directly into the depths of her heart, where her inner artist fought a silent battle against the world's expectations. "And you," Master Sato said, addressing a middle-aged businessman with a furrowed brow and an aura of restrained restlessness. His expensive suit, a symbol of his worldly success, now resembled a gilded cage. "You are struggling with the weight of a decision, a turning point in your life's journey, one that could change the very course of your existence. You wonder if you have the courage to abandon the well-trodden path of corporate success and venture into the unknown, to follow the calling of a more meaningful but uncertain endeavor." The man gasped, taken aback, his deepest fears, the ones he dared not even speak of to himself, laid bare before the master's piercing eyes. It was as if his carefully constructed shield of worldly accomplishments had suddenly been made transparent, revealing the vulnerability and uncertainty that lay beneath. One by one, Master Sato addressed each pilgrim, his voice a thread winding through the labyrinth of their inner lives, revealing their hidden struggles, their hopes and doubts with astonishing precision. It was as if he were reading the very pages of their souls, revealing the secrets they had only confided to their pillows in the silence of the night, the prayers whispered and the pleas thrown into the starry sky. "How do you know these things?" asked an old man, his voice shaking with age and the weight of a life lived amid the uncertainties of existence. His face, a map of wrinkles etched by years of work under the sun, betrayed a profound weariness, but in his eyes still shone a spark of indomitable hope. An enigmatic smile, like sunlight filtering through bamboo leaves, spread across Master Seto's lips. "Because your questions are not unique," he replied, his voice ringing with the wisdom of countless centuries. "They are the echoes of countless souls who have walked this earth before you, who have wrestled with the same fears, who have harbored the same hopes, who have sought the same meaning in an ever-changing world. And most importantly, because you yourselves have borne the sign, the unmistakable sign of a heart that seeks, of a spirit that questions." The confusion deepened among the pilgrims. They did not understand. They had sought external signs, divine messages carved in the skies or whispered by the wind, yet the master spoke of an internal sign of something they already possessed. "You see," Master Sato explained, his voice dropping to a confidential whisper, as if sharing a great secret, "the sign you seek is not a spectacular bolt of lightning that pierces the sky, nor an ethereal whisper in the breeze, nor a prophecy written in ancient tomes. It is your very presence here at this very moment, your willingness to ask, to seek, to question the status quo, to seek something more than mere existence." He paused, his eyes lingering on each face of the crowd, letting his words sink deep into their consciousness like drops of rain seeping into thirsty earth. The universe, my dears, is not an indifferent entity, distant and careless of the destinies of men. No, it is a living force that breathes, that pulsates, that responds to your vibrations, your thoughts, your deepest intentions. When you ask for a sign, you are not simply throwing a random request into the cosmic void. You are setting off a chain of events, a dance of energy that brings the answer to you, weaving its way through the fabric of reality. Master Sato's eyes shone with a gentle intensity, like the stars beginning to dot the twilight sky. The very fact that you are sitting here at this very moment, in this humble temple, immersed in the quiet of this bamboo grove, is irrefutable proof that the universe has heard your request. He has led you here to these words, to this meeting, because deep down, buried beneath layers of doubt and uncertainty, you know that your path is not to wander aimlessly in the night, but to awaken to the radiant truth that lies dormant within you, waiting to be recognized. A murmur of understanding, like the rustling of leaves in a sudden breeze, spread through the room. The pilgrims began to see their journeys in a new light, no longer as a series of random, chaotic, meaningless events, but as a deliberate, intricate, and beautiful tapestry, carefully woven from the threads of their own intentions, their questions, their deepest aspirations. But how do we know with absolute certainty if we are truly on the right path? Asked a young woman, her voice tinged with an insecurity that belied her apparent youth. Her eyes, filled with an almost painful fervor, sought the master's gaze, clinging to the hope that he held the key to unlock her destiny. By trusting the process, Master Sato replied without hesitation, his voice as steady and reassuring as a mountain. The path of the chosen one, the one who seeks truth, alignment, and fulfillment of purpose, is rarely a straight line, a highway that winds unimpeded toward the horizon. No, it's more like a mountain trail, full of unexpected twists and turns, seemingly misleading detours, and dead ends that test your resolve. There will be moments of deep doubt, moments when weariness tempts you to turn back, to abandon the search, to settle for less. But it is precisely in these moments, when you are tested in the crucible of uncertainty, that your faith is forged, that your character is tempered. He leaned forward, his posture expressing a sense of urgency, his eyes fixed on each individual in the crowd, as if to imprint his words on their hearts. You must understand, with every fiber of your being, that the challenges you face, the obstacles that seem to block your path, are not signs of failure. They are not cosmic messages telling you to give up. On the contrary, they are opportunities for growth, the sometimes painful but always necessary milestones that guide you toward your true self. Every obstacle overcome, every fear faced head-on, every doubt silenced by sheer force of will, brings you inexorably closer to the person you were meant to become, to the potential that lies dormant within you. An elderly man, a peasant judging by his gnarled, calloused hands and face deeply weathered like the bark of an ancient tree, slowly raised his hand, his movement slow and deliberate. "Master," he said, His voice hoarse but resonant with the wisdom of a long life. I lost my wife, my life companion, last year. I prayed with all my heart for a sign, a whisper from beyond, that she was at peace, that she was not gone altogether. But I received nothing, only a deafening silence. Why did the universe abandon me in my grief? Master Sato's heart sank for the man, feeling the weight of his loss, the echo of his unheard cry. He approached with a light step and placed a reassuring hand, strong and gentle, on his shoulder. The contact seemed to convey a flood of empathy, a tacit acknowledgement of the man's suffering. "My dear friend," he said, his voice laced with infinite compassion, "the universe has not abandoned you. It has not turned its back on you. The signs you seek are often subtle, veiled, wrapped in the language of love and memory, not shouted from the rooftops, but whispered deep in your heart. Perhaps the sign is not in an extraordinary event, but in everyday life, in the beauty that persists even in pain." "Look," the master urged him, "perhaps it is in the warmth of the sun on your skin, reminding you of the warmth of your wife's embrace, or in the rustling of leaves in the wind, whispering her name in a language only the heart can understand. Perhaps it is in the face of a grandchild, where you see his smile reflected, or in the memory shared with a friend that brings to life, for a moment, his laughter. Open your heart, my friend, and you will see them, these signs, these traces of a love that transcends the veil of mortality." As the sun began its slow descent, casting long, sinuous shadows across the temple floor, Master Sato continued to share his timeless wisdom, weaving together a rich tapestry of stories, metaphors, and practical teachings. He spoke about the power of intention, the need to cultivate a focused mind, how thoughts and emotions are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of the universe, and how it is essential to carefully choose which seeds to cultivate. He stressed the importance of gratitude, of acknowledging the blessings, no matter how small, that dot our lives, because gratitude opens the heart to receive even more. And he spoke at length about the profound interconnectedness of all things, how every action, every thought, every emotion ripples outward like waves in a pond, affecting not only our lives, but the entire universe. "Remember," he said, as his lecture drew to a close, his voice resonating in the growing gloom of the temple, "the universe is not a passive observer. It is not a distant and indifferent entity. He is always conspiring in your favor, even when circumstances seem to suggest otherwise. Trust his timing, which may be different from yours, but is always perfect. Trust his plan, which may be more intricate and vast than your mind can currently comprehend, but it is always benevolent. And above all, trust yourself, the power that resides within you, because within you is a compass, an infallible inner guide, which always points towards your North Star, your true north, your ultimate purpose." As the pilgrims slowly rose to leave, their hearts filled with renewed hope, a newfound sense of direction, and deep gratitude, Master Sato offered them one final blessing, his words a beacon that would guide them through life's inevitable storms. "Go forward, my dear ones, and may you walk your path with unwavering courage, with unconditional love, and with the deep and abiding knowledge that you are never truly alone. Because the universe is with you in every breath, in every step, in every moment of your existence. Did you ask for a sign? There it is, unfolding before you in all its magnificence. It is your life itself, with its infinite potential, its challenges and its triumphs, unfolding before you, in all its glorious uncertainty, in all its breathtaking